Okay, so we got. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay, guys, I'm MG here with MG Covers, kind of an impromptu video. And what I'm going to do is basically show you a proven NCAA basketball handicapping system. I hate using the word system, but I couldn't think of anything better. But it's just a solid way to handicap that will win consistently year after year after year. Okay, so first off, let's see here. Okay, let's go to, again, I have a link in the description box of everything I'm going to be going over. And I don't know if I can read comments now. Yeah, I can. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to first talk about the whole premise of how to handicap college basketball. You've often heard, and there's a link to everything that I'm going to. Right now I'm at the NCAA website, basketball, men's stats, top scoring offenses and top scoring defense. Sorry about that. All right. So you've often heard the expression, good teams that win are generally teams that cover, good teams cover, et cetera, et cetera. What's actually, it's really true. Okay. So what you're looking at now is you're looking at for the entire year, scoring offensive, the top 10 scoring offensive teams in the NCAA, and also the top 10 scoring, the top 10 defensive teams in the NCAA. And I'll just go through them briefly. You got Gonzaga, Belmont, North Carolina, Buffalo, Duke, Citadel, South Dakota State, Winthrop, Hofstra, Lipscomb. Scoring defense means the amount of points they're holding their opponents to. Virginia, Texas Tech, Michigan, Kansas State, Houston, Loyola, Chicago, Liberty, Old Dominion, Virginia Tech, and Wisconsin. Now, we're going to talk about why these teams cover, because it's very simple. Teams that score a lot of points outscore their opponent, they cover. And also scoring defense, teams that play really good defense, they limit the number of points their opponent scores, and they cover as well. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, let's just start out like Virginia here. So what we're going to do, I'll tell you what, let's go to this chart here. What I did was I created a chart. This shows the defensive opponent's points per game, which means teams that play really good defense. And this is since the beginning of the year. This is January the 1st, since January 1st. So basically the last 5 games these teams have played. Now, what's interesting is I've included the road wins and losses only. And the reason that is I'll explain this briefly. So let's look at Virginia here. So you got Virginia. This is another site, OddsShark, that I use just for it's a free database that you can use. So we put Virginia in with the last 10 games. We're going to look at the home. Okay, we're going to see how often they covered at home and say their last 5 or 6 games. So we scroll down here and you look, you have February 16th, the first of the year, January 5th. Okay, so they are 3-3 against the spread on the road. Is it on the road or home? Wait a minute. I just messed up here. Wait a minute. Let's see. Virginia is, let's see. I can't remember which one I did. I'm going to mess myself up. Okay, home. All right, Virginia, regular season against the spread at home. All right, yeah. So since the beginning of the year, they are 3-3. So that would actually be, a 500 record, but you would actually lose money if you bet all of those games because you would be, even though you'd be 3-3, you'd be playing juice. Now, what I want you to look at, this is real important when you're looking at the home spread. This line for February the 16th, notice Virginia was favored by 16. That is a big number to cover. They were favored by 2 here against Duke. Lost that game. They were favored by 18 against Miami and lost. Favored by 21, Wake, and lost. Favored by 7.5, Virginia. Well, I said about Wake, they did win that cover. Virginia Tech minus 7.5, and Florida State minus 9. So if you look, the reason I want you to look at this, focus on the numbers here, because what happens at home, this is real important. The general public, and I've often heard people say, you're trying to beat the odds maker, you're trying to beat the book. That's not true. You're trying to beat the general public because the odds maker sets the line so that they can even the action. And what you see here is you see some really big numbers. And the reason those spread numbers are really big is that the general public loves to play home favorites. That's what they love to play. Rarely will you see the general public play an away underdog. They just don't do it. So what the odds makers do is they, what we call shade the line, or I always like inflate the line because again, they're trying to even the action. They know a lot of people are going to play Virginia if they're home. So therefore they, instead of this line, like right here, Notre Dame should probably have been about maybe like 10. They won by 6. It's actually 16. And watch what I do when I go to the road. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to look at their road record. Now, this is really interesting. Check this out. Okay, if you look back to their games since, let's go back to the 1st of January. Look at here. Against the spread on the road, Virginia is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They are 7-1. You say, wow, why would they have a better record on the road? It's because, again, the public, the favorites are overinflated. The lines are shaded to favor the favorite. And if you look at these lines, notice these spreads now. 5, 5.5, minus 1, 6.5, 12, minus 3.5, 5. See, those numbers are a lot lower. So here's one of the keys. College basketball, it's a good premise if you're taking notes in this or write this down. What you want to do is you want to play good teams when they are on the road because you will get favorable lines that way. As you can see, if you played Virginia at home, you would get a bigger spread. So one of the keys is play good teams on the road, and you can see they actually have a better record here. So going back to, let's see, where's my spreadsheet here? Okay, so going back to a spreadsheet. So this is what I did. I took I used again the top 10 offenses in NCAA year to date, top 10 defenses in NCAA year to date, and basically created a spreadsheet so we can see what their record is against the spread on the road. Virginia 4-1, Texas Tech 2-3, Michigan 3-2, Kansas State 4-0, had a big win this weekend. Houston 4-1, Loyola Chicago 1-4, Liberty 2-3, Old Dominion 1-4, Virginia Tech 3-1, Wisconsin 3-1. So if you would have played the top 10 defensive teams from January until now, you would have 27 wins, 20 losses, 57% win percentage, $100 player would have risk 27, lost 2,200. That includes juice. You'd be up $500. $1,000 player, again, same numbers. You'd be 27.20. You would be up $5,000. So that's about 2,500 a month just in playing the top 10 defenses. Now, if we go down to offensive teams, look here, and again, I did the same exact thing. Let me just show you an example from top offensive teams. Let's take North Carolina. If you look here, they are 5-0 against the spread on the road since January 1st. So let's see what their record is at home. So North Carolina, actually we'll do both just so you can see it. So North Carolina at home this year from January. Look. So from January the 2nd, they're 1, 2, 3, 4. They've won 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and lost. So they're 4-4. So you'd actually, if you'd have bet you in North Carolina at home, beginning of the year, against the spread, you would have had a 500 record and lost money because you'd be paying juice. And look at these lines here. And this is important. -7, -1, -15, -10, -4, -13, -11, -16. Now watch this. This is really interesting. So that's again, that goes back to what I said earlier, is that the odds makers will shade the line, inflate the line when a favorite is at home, because the perception is, I didn't cover this, my bad. Perception is that home teams have an advantage. Now, if you total up I haven't checked this stat today, or I haven't checked in about a week, but if you add up all the NCAA basketball games year to date, the home team wins. This is not against the spread, just flat out wins 69% of the time. So is there a home field advantage in college basketball? Absolutely. When you're talking about wins and losses. When you're talking about against the spread, no. Check this stat out. And I hadn't checked it again, but it's probably close. It's within a percentage point. Home teams cover only 49% of the time at home. So the myth that, people, they got home court advantage against the spread, they don't. So that's why one of the key handicapping strategies you can have is playing good teams on the road. So again, going back to our point here, you notice they're what did I say? They were 4-4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, North Carolina's 4-4 at home since January the 1st. Now let's look. Well, we already know what's going to happen, but I still want you guys to see it. So North Carolina on the road. Look, win. So they're undefeated since January there. So that's pretty cool. And you look at the lines: -10, +16, +1, +11, +7, -1. So again, there's more value playing them on the road. Now, the reason I have 5 here is I only included the last 5 games because if you follow any of our past videos, we like to show the most recent performance is more is going to predict what's going to happen more so than stats from November, December, etc. All right, so we're going to go down the list. Buffalo scores a lot of points. They're 2-3. Duke 4-1. Citadel 2-2. South Dakota State 1-4. Winthrop 2-3. Hofstra 3-2. Lipscomb 3-2. And again, look how close these numbers are. So since the beginning of the year, if you had just played the top 10 offensive teams in the NCAA, played every game on the road, when they were on the road, your record would be 27-21, 56% win percentage. $100 player would be up $390. $1,000 player would be up $3,900. Now, if you total those together, totals would be 54-41, 57% win percentage. $100 player would be up $890, and the $1,000 player would be up $8,900. Now, if you run this for the full season, let's say if you start all the way back at the beginning of the season until now, it would be the $100 player would be up about, I think it's about $3,000. $1,000 player would be up about $32,000. Now, unfortunately, let me go back up here. You can't. If you notice these stats here, I'm back to this NCAA page, scoring offense. It says games through February 23rd. Well, when the season starts, they're not going to have the top 10 scoring offensive teams because they don't have any stats. They have to, play, at least, maybe, well, they'll start loading the stats even after one game, but you're not going to get a real representative sample to probably about December 1st. So the November would sort of be a wash, but you could probably a good strategy. You could follow this again. I check it in December, but you would still have, that's probably when you would start wanting to play this particular handicapping system to start about, December. Because like I said, again, if you started November, there's not any stats here. So anyway, so what I'm going to do next, let's check, see this. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do next, let's go to, hey, if anybody's watching this or watching this after it's recorded, if you want me to email this to you, I can, just so you have it, can see it. All right. So we're going to take this same strategy and let's look at tomorrow's games. We'll go to covers.com. I like covers. Okay. So what we're doing is we're looking for any of these teams that are playing. This is for Monday. Aha, we got Lipscomb. All right. Now, there's not a line for this. I just checked. A lot of times these unpopular teams will not have a line until later. Let's click matchup here. Okay, cool. I'm going to show you guys how to one way to create a line. So first thing you would do is you would take, again, I've talked about this before. You never look at overall stats right here because it does you no good, because that's not representative how they're going to play. What's this, tomorrow night, Monday night? You want the most recent stats. So the stats I generally use is this right here, the last 5. Now, this is not, those of you that follow me on Instagram, this is not the way that I create a line, but it is one way that you can use it. I don't want to reveal how I do that. That is proprietary information. But anyway, this just gives you a general idea. But a lot of the odds makers use this to create a line too. So what you would do is is this New Jersey Tech? Yeah, New Jersey Tech. So you would take their points for, which would be 67. And then you would take Lipscomb's against points here. Okay. You see that? You take 67 and 68. So that's going to basically average out to 68. Now, for Lipscomb, that's a tough one to pronounce for me. Lipscomb. I was saying Lipscomb. It's Lipscomb. Lipscomb, you would take 77, their points for, and you would use New Jersey's points against, which is 66. So 77 plus 60. Wait a minute. 77 plus 66 equals 143 divided by 2. So you got 71. So a real, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Layman's way to make a line. So that would be Lipscomb 71, New Jersey Tech 67. So doing it that way, that line would be Lipscomb minus 4. And again, Lipscomb's, are they Lipscomb at home? Yeah. So Lipscomb's at home. They would probably inflate that line as well. So that line would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood. I would guess probably be like 7 or 8, somewhere in there. Now, I'm not going to get into, there's more situational handicapping that I do when I'm looking at a game, because you can look and see that Lipscomb has not covered here lately. I would factor that in, but that just gives you and I'll cover that maybe in another video, but I just wanted to give you a general idea of how to create a line. So Lipscomb is a game we will look at. Again, we're looking for teams that fit our top 10 defense. And here's another one. Now, I've actually, to tell you about Kansas State, I've actually already played Kansas State. I got Kansas State at +5 because this was, and the line's already moved down to +3.5. So when we click matchup, let's scroll all the way down here. And we will look at, okay, we'll create a line for this game. So again, you can see here, they're actually, Kansas State is actually the underdog here at plus 3.5. And if you go back to our stat sheet, Kansas State, they are 4-0 since January, or 4. I think they had a push. That's why I didn't list 5 games. They had a push, so they were 4-0. So against the spread as an away team, they're 4-0, and yet they are the underdogs in this game. So I'm showing you how to create a line here. If you go to the, again, last 5, we take Kansas State would be 71 points for, and you use Kansas defensive AGA average goals against is 73, so that would be 72 for Kansas State. You can take Kansas's points for, Kansas State's points against would be 60, so that is 74 plus 60. That equals 134 divided by 267. So we have 67 minus 72 minus 67. So the line would be actually Kansas State plus 5. And in my handicapping, the way I do it, it's a little bit more advanced. I have the line at -8. I have Kansas State at -8. So that's why when I saw the line at plus 5, I jumped on it. But still, even at plus 3, let's see here. Yeah, so the line is plus 3, Kansas State, and our line is 5. So that gives us an 8.5 point differential, which is a nice spread. So that would definitely be a play. And again, there's other things that I would take into consideration when handicapping this game. But like I say, I've already played Kansas State. But like I said, that's a real simple way to handicap games or to create your own line. And it's a safe way, because what you're doing is, in essence, just to kind of review all this, let's go back here. So what we're doing is we want to play really good teams, either a really good defensive team or a really good offensive team when they are on the road. Why do we play them on the road? Because we get favorable numbers, because generally the favorite or the home team, the line will shade towards the home team, because the general public likes to play favorites at home. So we get better odds here, which means we can cover more often, which you'll see this is very effective, because just using since January, this is effective. You could run, if you want to test this, you could go back years and test it. This thing's positive. I mean, it's been this way for me since 2015. And it's very simple. It's a very simple way, and it's a very safe way. So in essence, you're not playing any obscure teams. You're just playing really good offensive teams and really good defensive teams. Now, one thing too, just to kind of summarize here, or just to kind of give you one more strategy, I would take like Old Dominion here. They are listed as a good defensive team. Obviously, they're 1-4. Like if they show up in a game, like say they were scheduled to play maybe Tuesday night or something, I probably would not play them, because again, this shows right here they are not a good road team, because they're 1-4. So again, the best indication of future behavior is past behavior. Virginia Tech obviously is 3-1, Wisconsin 3-1. Anyway, if you watch this video, you have any questions, just give me a shout. And I put all the links. There's a link to the NCAA site down below. There's also a link to OddsShark. That was the site I was using right here, where you can find the database. And you can go back. I mean, you can take this thing back. I think you can go back. I mean, yeah, if you want to put like 30 games in and research that, you can do it for when they're a favorite, an underdog, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a good database. I like using, especially because it's free. There's a lot of sites that would charge you, but you can get a lot of good use out of OddsShark. So anyway, hey, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me see if I can know how to cut this thing off. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you got any questions, let me know. And hopefully we'll do videos like this in the future. And if there's a particular video that you want me to do something or have a question, hey, let me know. Drop a comment in the below, and we'll chat about it. All right, man. Hope you guys have a great night.